Here's where we begin. What is light? That's a big question. Light is something you can see. It's also something you can't see. There are certain parts of the visible spectrum, or I should say, there are certain parts of the spectrum of frequencies that are visible and that are not visible. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It exists just in a dimension that you cannot perceive through your eyes. The answer to what is light is everything. I would challenge that by saying, what is not light? Because everything is made up of one thing, and that one thing is energy. We know that factually because everything, especially everything physical, everything non-physical is obviously made up of energy because it's not physical, so it must be made up of something. But everything physical can be broken down to atoms. Atoms can be broken down to subatomic particles. In every atom, you have different components, like the electron, the proton, so on and so forth. And here's where it gets interesting. 99.9999% of an atom is not physical. That means that the subatomic particles make up only 0.00001% of the atom, and yet we call the atom something physical. When was the last time you called something physical that was 99.9999% not physical? The reason why we do is because that's how we perceive it. But we also know about the empty space. It's not empty, it's full. It's just full of something we cannot necessarily detect. We call that dark matter, so on and so forth. There are a lot of theories about that. The point is, if everything physical is made up of atoms, and atoms are only 0.00001% physical and 99.9999% energy, that means that everything is primarily made up of energy. What is energy? It is also everything. But energy and light are synonymous. People think light and it needs to be something you can see. That's not true. It's just an energy, it's a frequency, it's a vibration. That is light. So why is light the most advanced technology on Earth? Because light is what everything is based on. Light is creation. Light is existence. Now we could dive into the non-physical aspects of light and the visible aspects of light. For the purposes of what I want to do today, I want to dive deeper into the actual physical aspects of light, or so-called the visible aspects of light. That is the visible spectrum. The visible spectrum of light is measured in something called nanometers. So what is the difference between red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet? That's your Roy G. Biv. That's your visible spectrum of light. The difference between each thing that we call a color is a different length of a wave of energy, otherwise known as a wavelength. So red is a different wavelength than purple. Purple is a different wavelength than orange. Orange is a different wavelength than green, and so on and so forth. So red is like 600 to 700 nanometers. Obviously, don't quote me on that, but it's around that number, 600 to 700 nanometers. While take violet would be closer to 300 to 400 nanometers. Again, the length of the wave. So violet, purple, is a shorter wave than red or orange, which is a longer wave. Now, the reason why that's important is because, first and foremost, you might be looking at me and saying, who cares? It's colors. Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But here's why it matters. And I'll actually share my screen to show you exactly what I'm talking about. You've probably all heard of something called chakras. I'm sure you have. It's something that is very known around the world, even if you don't believe in it. But there's nothing to believe in because it's a fact. Chakras are different energy centers in the body. Now, this is going to be a blurry picture. I just pulled it up, but this is what I'm talking about. And when you look at the different chakras in the body, they are in order of the visible spectrum of light: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Now, here's where people get tripped up. They look at these and they say, oh, what's the root chakra? What's the sacral chakra? What's the solar plexus? What's the throat chakra? What's a chakra? And then they dismiss it as woo-woo and just say, this is not real, this is nonsense, and this is like spiritual, nonsensical stuff. And little do they know, it's not different than the digestive system and the nervous system and so on and so forth, and the reproductive system, because instead of calling this the root chakra, which is what Eastern medicine would call it, Western medicine would call this your blood flow, your circulation, and so on and so forth. Eastern would call this the sacral chakra. Western would call this the reproductive system. Eastern would call this the solar plexus. Western would call this the digestive system. Eastern would call this the heart chakra. Western would call this the cardiovascular system. You catch my drift? So it's not something that's woo, they're just using different terminology that maybe because most people or some people don't know what those things are, they call it fake or nonsensical. It's not nonsensical. Each color represents a different aspect of the body. Now, the reason why light is so important is because light is like a carrier wave. It carries information. It carries information that can carry intentions. It carries information that can carry different frequencies in the form of color. So let's take this, for example. This is the light system cube. The reason why this works so well and so many people have it is not just because it looks nice. It's because of how it works. It's because light is the most advanced technology on Earth. So when you're looking at this, for example, you see two colors here. You see blue and you see a pink purplish color. But let's call it blue and purple. Blue would represent light as a carrier wave, literally delivering the frequency that will rebalance this part of the body. But it's not just the physical body that you have, it's also the energetic or emotional body that you have. So on a physical level, this may represent, blue may represent your throat, it may represent your trachea, it may represent your esophagus, it may represent all of those things on a physical level, your thyroid and so on and so forth. But on an energetic or emotional level, you're going to have a completely different representation. In this case, blue would help rebalance things that will help you be a better communicator. That's why blue is so important to me, whereas purple will carry information that will be delivered closer to your pineal gland and your crown, which is really just more of your intuitive aspect of life. It will help you in deeper meditation. It will help you as you're writing. Red is a whole different wavelength. Red will help more so with inflammation in the body. Think red light therapy. This is red light therapy and a whole lot more extensive and expansive than that, because it's not just targeting one part of the visible spectrum of light, it's targeting the full spectrum of visible light. And that's why you can change this, right? So right now you see blue and purple, but now I can bring in different aspects to it. I can also bring in things that are going to bring, again, back to blue and purple, but now we can bring in different colors completely, different aspects that will target different aspects of the body and help synchronize with different aspects of the body, now the heart and the lungs and so on and so forth. So again, light is a carrier wave. It carries energy, and the energy you give it is extremely important. Right now in modern medicine, we think that a pill can fix all of your complex problems. No. A pill may fix one problem at the expense of another because it's based on something called reductionism. Light is based on holism. It doesn't have side effects that a reductionistic medication would give you. Light, in my view, is a form of medicine. And it's not really just in my view, it's kind of a fact. And the reason why I call it a foundational fact is because light is the foundation of absolutely everything. And when you play the game from the level of its roots, you control reality. Light is a way of doing that. And that's why red light therapy is so powerful. People hear blue light and they say, oh, that's toxic, it's bad. No. Blue light is just not good at nighttime. Blue light is very good during the day. Blue light is very good in the morning, but blue light at night will stop the production of melatonin. It will make it harder to go to sleep. So these are some myths that people have about light, thinking certain colors are good and certain colors are bad. All colors are great. It depends on what you are targeting. When people talk about med technologies, there's a reason why they're based on light. Now, I don't conform to the general narrative of this thing that you walk into, it scans you, and you are, disease-free in 1 second. I don't believe that something like that could exist because it would take away the spiritual essence of the lessons that those ailments or imbalances are actually trying to teach you. And that in my opinion, is a crime against humanity. You can't take away somebody's lessons. They need to go through that. They may be uncomfortable, but that's what's necessary for growth. Albeit, when it comes to light therapy in general, and light as a form of advanced technology to help the body heal itself and so much more, you could use light as a form of weaponry as well, just like you can use light as a modality of healing. Almost like you can use a knife to kill somebody, and you can also use a knife to make a salad and cook your food or prepare your food. It is all dependent on the intentions of the operator behind it. It's all dependent on the intentions of the individuals behind it, the consciousness of the individual behind it. So the reason why light is the most advanced technology on earth is very simple. It's simply because it is everything. It's the foundation of absolutely everything, the foundation of existence, the foundation of creation. When you understand how light works, and you understand how different colors impact the body in different ways, and you understand that you can use light like this does to literally transfer certain intentionalities to the body or to the being receiving it, synchronizing with certain affirmations, which is literally what is scrolling on this screen right now. You're using light as a carrier wave to deliver that energy to the body. The body synchronizes with that energy, and it expresses harmony and balance over disease and distortion. So think about that. Think about how important that is. And with that, if you guys have any questions in any way whatsoever, I do want to answer them with the few minutes that we have. I'm doing my best to make these lives more potent without having any fluff, without having any repetition if not necessary, and giving you exactly what you need, because I know we all have busy days. And instead of you having to watch something for 2 hours that can be consolidated into 20 or 30 minutes, let's consolidate into 20 or 30 minutes. That's exactly what my goal is for 2026, to make things as simple as possible, to consolidate things, and to deliver it in the most potent and powerful way. So I see somebody over here, Barry Jenkins, not somebody, a really good man, a man that I hope to see at the Transformation, the Becoming Superhuman event in 10 days from now, 9 days from now actually, and a man that is very important to the unified community. Somebody that is just absolutely incredible. So Barry Jenkins, you say, the highest frequency is love. God is love. Colors have frequencies. What color has the highest frequency? It's a great question. So just from a measurable standpoint, the color in the visible spectrum that has the highest frequency will be violet. It's the shortest wave. It will move and vibrate the fastest. But that doesn't mean it's the best. Some people say highest frequency, highest frequency, better outcome, because they associate highest frequency with raising your vibration. But here's what most people are not aware of. Raising your vibration doesn't mean synchronizing with the highest frequency in the visible spectrum of light. Raising your vibration means rebalancing every energy center you have in your body, which makes the lowest frequency not bad, just physically in terms of measurability, the lowest frequency and the highest frequency both just as important, because they're both part of the equation that make the whole, and that whole needs to be balanced. The key to raising your vibration is aligning every energy center and balancing every energy center in your body. If you can do that, you have raised your vibration to the highest degree there is in this physical form. That's what we all strive for. That's what we all aim for. That's what we all want. But I want to make it clear that that really is the definition of raising your vibration, not the highest frequency, but alignment and balance. I'm going to look over here. Carol Ann says, Barry radiates love just like Jason. Thank you very much. And I'm sure Barry appreciates that as well. Now, again, purple is interesting because Barry brings up purple was royalty's pick. Interesting. It was royalty's pick because if you go back in the day, especially, go to the ancient Egyptians, the pharaohs, and so on and so forth, they were a much more spiritually advanced race. Take in the Bible, and again, not a religious man, but interesting. They call the Jewish people not the chosen nation. They call the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, Am Sgula. Am Sgula, whether you agree with that or not, doesn't matter. Am Sgula means Am Sagol. Am Sagol means the purple nation. Now, you can also translate that to unique nation, but nobody ever said chosen nation. That's a bunch of nonsense that somebody translated in a different way. It doesn't say Am Nivchar in the Bible. It says Am Sgula in the Bible. Nivchar means chosen. Sgula means purple or unique. So just keep that in mind. But the point is that color is a more spiritually oriented color because it will represent the pineal gland and the crown. So that will help you in things like meditation. For example, if you have a light system at home, whether it's the cube, whether it's the pyramid, whether it's the bigger systems, this setting, when you're expressing the wavelength of violet, magenta, purple, will bring you to deeper states of meditation faster, because that's what this wavelength of light does. That's what it helps you rebalance. That's what it helps you synchronize with. So just keep that in mind. Another question says, question continued. So I'm going to have to look at the beginning. So the first question for Margie is, I went to a center for eye healing due to pressure pain. After 2 hours, I got ready to leave. The full ache in my eye got worse. I went to a center for vision/eye healing and left with horrible pain in my eye. What caused this? I went seeking relief. I'm so open to all of this. Okay, that's not a bad thing. Think of it like this. When you cut yourself with a knife, you know when you feel that throbbing pain a day later? That throbbing is your finger healing. That throbbing is your skin healing. Is it comfortable? No. Do you have that sharp pain, that burning sensation sometimes? Yes, but that's necessary for healing. So that actually means, Margie, that you were experiencing a positive effect. It was just uncomfortable. My friendly recommendation, not medical recommendation here, I'm not a doctor, but my friendly recommendation would be go give that another shot. Something was happening, something was transforming. Let your body go through what it needs to go through. And if it's painful, sometimes it will be, go in stages, but be consistent, because light is not just this magical thing that heals everything. You got to be consistent with the regimen as well, just like with the gym. If you use the gym once a month, good luck getting a six-pack, good luck getting in shape. But if you use it 3 times a week and you're consistent with that, it's going to work. If you're one of the ones that go once a month and you see, why aren't I losing weight? Why aren't I getting in better shape? It's not that the gym doesn't work. It's that you're not using the gym the right way. Same thing with light, same thing with the light system, same thing with any of this. Consistency is key. It is absolutely key. And if it doesn't work because you went once and nothing happened, or you went once and you didn't see what you wanted, don't expect that. That happens in some cases, but I would call that more the miracle cases. Consistency is needed if you want to truly transform with anything in your life. Let's keep going over here from Caleb. When it comes to the tech, are the screens used with the system specifically developed to maximize the effectiveness of the technology, or could it be used on a regular TV to achieve the same result? No. So you're going to have a different result. And the reason why is because what you're seeing over here is going in all directions simultaneously, and each screen is actually synchronized. Same with the pyramid. When it comes to the bigger systems will give you a different impact, because the bigger systems give you more direct photonic collision. And that's why I'm so excited about what they're actually doing right now with the bigger system promotion, to get more of those out there, to expand it into even more wellness centers and even more countries than it is right now. And it's already far expansive over the past 12 months since they've begun. But this is so important because the bigger systems are more advantageous, they're more effective, they're stronger when it comes to the configuration, because you have the screens with the opposing light beams, in Dr. Glenn Ryan's words, annihilating each other and creating this, call it almost like a nullification zone, or a nullification of detrimental energy. It doesn't mean it's going to be zero there, but it's nullifying and transmuting detrimental energy into more coherent, productive, and positive and constructive energy. So keep that in mind when it comes to the bigger systems. And for those of you who are tuning in late, make sure you look at the offer, the promotion that Light System is doing right now on the lightsystems.com, because you could save up to $16,000 on those bigger units, which is not a small amount of money, but it makes it easier now to bring to your community, to bring even to your home if you choose, but to bring to your community in the strongest, possible way. It's extremely powerful. So that's the difference between a TV that's just scrolling something versus either this configuration, even the spheres configuration. I'm pointing there because my sphere is actually right in front of me over there. And of course, the configuration of the bigger systems. The configuration is important because it creates different outcomes as well. That's not to say that on a TV it won't do anything, but it's not going to be nearly as strong because of the reasons that I just explained. Do I run the light 24/7? I do run the light 24/7 because it takes the energy consumption of a light bulb. It's like 75 watts per unit. It's really not a lot at all. It doesn't increase my electric bill, but it does increase or decrease my medical bill because I'm healthier. I feel better. I feel stronger. I feel more productive. I feel more clear in my mind, and that's extremely important when it comes to how we actually want to live our lives. Let's keep going here to Trex 333 Son. Studied light in the last 8 years and amazed by its life. I'm awaiting my sphere. What color do you use for focus/working? That's a very, very good question. So not just the color, but the color composition as well. F8 is called Pele's Fire. Pele's Fire is the 8th program of color compositions on this technology. It's extremely powerful. And it's also helping you, or at least it helps me with focus. Now, on a scientific level, what will help you with focus? You would think the purple. And that could, in terms of opening and rebalancing this part of the body. But beyond that, red is extremely powerful. Yellow is extremely powerful because yellow will help you be more creative. And creative creates a flow. That flow is what you need to be productive. And that flow is essentially what I use always when I write my books, when I write in my journal, when I do any work. So keep that in mind. F8 for productivity on the sphere. The sphere is really kind of one of my favorite designs because of how beautiful it is. It's a beautiful big orb that you could put anywhere in your home. In my office, I'm on like overdose mode here, but you can't really overdose on good energy. But, you know, it's incredible. I have a sphere over there, a cube here, a pyramid here, and it's really the reason why I'm so productive throughout the day, and I am very productive throughout the day. But it's not to my credit. I give credit to these things. I don't want to externalize my power. I know it's coming from within, but these are incredible stepping stones to help with that as well. Let's keep going over here. I see Tamara is coming to the event, so is Barry Jenkins. It's going to be awesome. The event's happening in 9 days, the Becoming Superhuman Transformational event with myself, Robert Edward Grant, Dr. Ed Group, Dr. Brian Artis, and Aaron Apke. Make sure to be there on the live stream or in person. You can learn more on my website, jasonshurka.com. So I see Joe0911 says, I'm in the chair room first thing in the morning. Yes. And in the chair room, I assume you're talking about the light system chair. That's also an incredible option, one of the most potent products because of the level of intensity that it offers without having to have all those screens. The reason why is because they're closer to each other. When you have the screens closer to each other, you create a more potent field that doesn't dilute over time. Now, of course, the difference varies depending on the distance that you keep it apart or close to each other, but that is what makes the light system chair one of the most powerful products that they offer because of the close proximity of the screens to not just your body, but also to each other, annihilating a whole lot faster, creating a whole lot stronger of a field. Let's keep going over here. Okay. I'm just looking at some of these questions and comments. They're great. Okay, one more question for today. Do you need to station it in any one room or move it to the room you are in the most? I would personally put it in the room that I'm in the most. But beyond that, if you could, I would get a cube in each main room, bedroom, living room, office. You could get a pyramid in one of those as well. It all depends. I'm sure you could work things out with the team if you reach out to them and explain you want to buy a few. So make sure to learn more by going to thelightsystems.com. It's all about light, and it's what I like to call the most advanced technology on earth when it comes to light, because it is. Light is the future of medicine. And that's why Nikola Tesla told us, when you think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, guess what? You understand the secrets of the universe. So all of these things, all of these questions are great questions. I think it could actually be very beneficial to do a Q&A if you guys want in the future just on the technology, different programs, things like that. I'm pretty well versed in it because I use it every day, so I can always give you guys more information on that if you guys wish. You just let me know and I will serve you in the best way that is serving to you. Now, how about running programs at night? That's very, very good question. My favorite way to run programs at night if you're sleeping around it is with a black background. The black background is chosen just by choosing the actual program keys, F1, F2, F3, F4, all the way to F10, and then the other 6 are Shift F1, Shift F2, Shift F3, Shift F4, Shift F5, Shift F6. Your 16 different programs and color compositions with a black background will give you the least amount of brightness with the highest degree of effectiveness for at night sleeping. So keep that in mind. It is extremely powerful to use in that way. With that, I do want to answer one more question here. Blue programs at night. I would not use blue programs at night unless at the very maximum you're doing a black background. But still, blue light at night will hinder your melatonin production in the body and make it harder to sleep. Red is a whole different story. So I would operate red at night, especially if you're using it in your bedroom with a black background. You will sleep like an absolute angel. You will sleep like a baby. And again, these are easier when it comes to the cubes, the pyramids, the spheres for real portable units. But the bigger systems, nothing compares to that. Anywhere from the chair, but really the 12 unit, 24 unit, 32 unit are the most advanced forms of it.